Insights with Terri Coots, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Coots. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, I'm Terri Coots, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Thank you so much for joining me this week of kind of marking the fall, even though technically it doesn't, but Labor Day weekend. Beautiful, beautiful weekend. I know it's probably a little too warm for some, but us little orchids love the heat. So I think we've got a few more days of this really real heat, and then I think we'll be looking more at fall weather. The birds are flocking. The hummingbirds are starting to thin out. The wasps are angry, building their last bit of nests for the panicky type of getting ready for winter. My dogs are shedding their summer coat, getting their winter coat. My ducks and turkeys and chickens are all losing their feathers to get ready for their winter feathers. I guess it's time to start looking at us getting ready for winter before too much long. Let's hope for a long, long, long Indian summer. So, what does the cosmos have in store for us this week, the week of September the 3rd through the 10th, 2023? Let's explore that together. We are still in Virgo, in the sun sign. We will be there for a couple more weeks. And we also have in Mercury, the planet of how we think and process, Virgo, going retrograde. So it's a Mercury retrograde. That will go direct on the 15th. Now, retrograde, I've talked a million times about it to people. It's just the planet. It isn't technically going backwards, but in its elliptical journey in relation to the Earth and the Sun, it appears to go backwards, which also makes the energy flow back, kind of like a wave going back out from the shore. So it's opposite of its normal energy. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury, it's in Mercury, so it's double whammy here, going retrograde. It'll cause some brain fog. Be prepared for that. Now on the 15th it goes direct, but when the planets change like that, oftentimes we lose our spatial ability to make good choices spatially. That means twisting ankles, falling down, misjudging the step, falling into glass. Just be careful, be really careful. Our judgment of our spatial the awareness, I should say, really, of our spatial identity is really off kilter at this time. Hang on to the railing when you're going down the stairs. It won't hurt you to do that, but it'll hurt you if you wished you did. Also, it kind of comes to a catalyst, a climax as we're changing. So going backwards, looking at what did I need to do this summer that I didn't get done? What projects do I want to put on hold or speed through? All of that looking back, then all of a sudden being required to look forward. It's a real big change. So there can be some irritability with that, or feelings of pressure, feelings of maybe being overwhelmed. We didn't get this done, we didn't get this done. If you can, and you're starting to feel that, try to focus on what you did do as opposed to what you didn't do. Be aware of what you didn't do, getting the generator fixed. Be aware of it, but don't let it be your focus. Let it be a goal that you're working towards, knowing that you're either going to put it on hold if it's not that necessary, or you're going to work towards it. So we're moving forward the middle of this week. Then Venus, the planet of love, beauty, attraction, that's in Leo, and that's been going retrograde forever. And so that really, really put a big pressure on our relationships. Even ones that you didn't think you had a problem with could have erupted into, wow. And then we have to handle it. That will be going direct on the 4th, and that is in Leo. So advice would be, see what you can find about the people that you're with that you like. See what you like about them, and be vocal. Roar like the lion or the lioness. Be vocal about it. It's an energy field that really likes to feel good about itself as we're making that transition from retrograde to forward. Again, That's when the bobbles happen. So watch your relationships. Sometimes silence is better than trying to discuss something at a bad time. If a person's not willing to listen to it or doesn't want to listen to it or isn't in the mood for it, better to be quiet and do it at a time that's a little bit more copacetic, shall we say. And Mars, the planet of our drive and our passion, that's in Libra. And that is really, really wanting to strive for balance. So the overall passion that we'll have is, I just want balance. I just want to balance my career, my life, my me, my kids. So this is a great time to look for little chinks in our armor. Where are we falling down? Where could we make it a little bit better? What is the balance for you? Everybody's a little different, so we have to look at it. Maybe even help your children look at, or your clients, your whatever. How this is what I'm seeing. Is there a way that we could work with this better? And it's the same with the dogs. I have a whole slew, as most of you know, of working dogs. So I will focus this week. Maybe it's going to be in here for a while. I will focus with my pack of dogs to try to strike a balance between the seniors that need the quiet and the peace and don't want to roar around. Some of them are blind, some are deaf. And then the puppies that need to be idiots. Believe me, I'm telling you the truth, constantly. And so those I'll try to find balance with them, but mostly their balance leans on the expression of energy. Now, not mindless energy where you're throwing a ball. There's nothing wrong with throwing a ball for a dog, but they just practice running, and they spiral out of control. I look at games, throwing the ball, going around, lying down, leave the ball. I look at all my games. I've got about 400 games that I have logged and play with the dogs to play, to enjoy, to burn off energy, but also there's a point to it. There's something productive at the end of the game. So at the end of the game, they might know how to leave something and don't touch it. At the end of the game, it might be a recall where you always come to me no matter what's going on. It might be a real quick down. It might be a whole bunch of things. So I'll pick something, we play, we work, but we play. So they don't know. So I'm striking a balance between fun and work and quiet and ridiculousness and trying to do it for everything in our lives ourselves. That's what we're supposed to be looking at this week. Now, so many planets are in retrograde. Just to recap, Mercury is in retrograde, but it will go direct on the 15th. It takes a few days to get out of that. Venus, that's retrograde as well. And that will go direct on the 4th. Shoo! But the big planets, those big generational planets, are retrograde as well. Now, they're not as up close and personal as our first 5, but they do have an effect on us. So Jupiter, our teacher, our happy teacher, is in Taurus, the determined energy of the bull. And that will be going retrograde on the 4th of this month. So that teacher, that's a happy teacher, may show us some lessons in our lives. It teaches us through experience, through events, open our eyes to embrace new everything. And in Taurus, it will be maybe working towards a goal, working towards something, not getting off of our path. When it goes retrograde, may turn into the opposite, where we just can't focus. We're just all over the place. Everybody with their birth chart is different and is affected differently. Saturn, the other teacher, but the mean teacher, the hard teacher, that's in Pisces. That's retrograde. Been going retrograde forever. Pisces is psychic, intuitive, feelings, awash with feelings. When it's going retrograde, it can turn that against us, where you're feeling everything. You're crying at the news, stories. It may not be in our best interest, but we can look at it and say, how can I make this work for me? What lessons, intuitively, psychically, metaphysically, esoteric, mindfully, physically, am I supposed to be learning right now? And they'll give us some hard lessons with this. Uranus, the planet of the future, in Taurus, is retrograde. So it'll be very difficult for us to look at what our actions are and what they're contributing to the future. Let me just get on a soapbox really quickly. The EV, electric models of cars, that's the future, right? They want to get us off gas. And I'm on board to save the planet. Believe me, I live here. I like this planet. But with Uranus in retrograde and Taurus, we double down on things that are not necessarily in our best interest. So if somebody brought something to an attention of a politician, say, we don't have the infrastructure for EV, our hydro grid is going to crash, we will not be able to supply the electricity that they're going to need for the cars, some people aren't going to be able to show up for work, we just don't have it. And the politician would say, don't bother me with the details, figure it out. Uranus in retrograde is like that. We are not looking at the future clearly the way we need to be proactive and try to put things in place before we implement. We'll implement, kind of like the tire tax. They implemented the tire tax and still don't know what to do with the tires. So nobody knew what to do with the tires. Everybody's got tires, but what do you do with them? Nobody will take them. No thought was put into it. Same with all the tax on our gasoline. Out of $1.67 a liter, $1.10 is towards producing it. All the rest is tax, and they're going to increase the carbon tax again. What does that mean? Right? So they're not putting the thought through it, and that's what Uranus in retrograde. So maybe this is our little people time to push back or to bring it to their attention. And Neptune, which is our planet that gives us a huge advantage in creativity, but also a huge pressure of fear. So it's kind of like we think something so much we scare the beans out of ourselves. We overthink it, and then we become inert and we can't move forward because we've just scared ourselves to death. And that's in Pisces. So that is also very sensitive. So we can be overwhelmed with all of our feelings of hopelessness, maybe, feeling what other people are going through with the weather and economic everything, and then turn into a hopeless feeling. Don't let that happen. If you start to notice it, focus on something that's upbeat for you and good and happy. And then Pluto. Ooh, Pluto. Pluto is a planet of transformation. It's in Capricorn, going retrograde. Capricorn likes us to do things right. Let's get this right. People, let's get on board. Come on, organize. It'd be so much easier if we organize and get this right. Going retrograde, it could make us inert. I can't get it right. I can't be perfect, so I'm not going to do anything. So Pluto, literally, you have to go to hell and back to get the answers. So the lessons will be hard for transformation. So let's go back to EV models again. Maybe it's a good thing ultimately that we're going to electricity, but with Pluto in the position with Capricorn and not thinking ahead with Uranus, maybe we'll have some hard lessons on not everybody can have a vehicle because they can't charge it. Not everybody could afford it. Not everybody will be able to change the infrastructure of their own homes to charge these vehicles or to get the adapters or to have the time to charge it in between work schedule. So there will be some difficulties, not just that, I'm just using that as an example, in so many things that we're transforming into right now. So many things. So we have to look ahead, and that's what this is all about, trying to look ahead. Maybe not following our politicians, maybe saying, you know what, you suck. You, like Pierre Poilievre, all he does is complain. He's bashes everybody. Beautiful. Who can't bash? Everybody can bash. Few people can come up with the solution. He's not one of them. I don't dislike him. I don't respect him. I don't respect his attitudes. I don't respect anything creative about him. So he's not, all he does is complain. He's a whiner, right? Nothing constructive here. So we have to look at our politicians. And I'm not even going to go into Trudeau. He's a boy leading a country. We don't have good ones right now. And Ford is not making me happy with lies and cover-ups and my friends and then doing something different. That doesn't impress me either. So maybe we need to pull from our own ranks. Maybe we need to look at what do we really need to do. Get together, think tank with each other, offer solutions. If they won't grab the solutions, then maybe we are bigger, stronger, mightier. The buffalo can push the lion back because of the numbers. Meerkats can push a lion back because of numbers. Hyenas can. Numbers matter. Collective agreement matters. So maybe that's what all of these retrogrades are here to teach us. Now, the beginning of the week, in vulnerability, in physical vulnerability, will be our neck. And if you're vulnerable in these areas, it could give you grief. Not everybody, it's general. The neck, the vocal cords. Every time we go in this, I lose my voice. Throat, thyroid. If you have a compromised thyroid, keep your numbers correct. Look at it. Then as we move to the middle of the week, we'll be looking at moving that down to shoulders and your arms, your hands, bronchial tubes, your lungs. So we might have some lung issues this week. If you know that's your issue, have your inhaler, have your hulls. Don't stand over a campfire and inhale too much more than you need to. Just take care with those body parts. Then as it moves towards the end of the week, our stomachs. So if you have a weak stomach, watch the foods you choose. It might not be able to tolerate too much. And female parts. So just keep an eye on them. Towards the end of the week, many of us will just want to nest. We'll want to be around our home, our family. Great weekend to spend some time with quality family time. The kids have just gone back to school. Maybe we can update ourselves on what they're experiencing. Have a family dinner. Invite everybody over. Just enjoy the loyal blood line of family and home towards the end of the week. Make it a nice family weekend if you can. Now, I did pull some cards for all of us this week. So just remember, if you can, that this is, as I said, this is general. And it being general, it can apply to maybe your friends, your family, maybe yourself, but we're supposed to just look at it and say, generally, how could this apply to me? So one of the cards that came up very strongly is the card of planning, and it's upside down. So what it's suggesting is that many of us are either not making good plans, which is really what we talked about already with the planet, so maybe it's just supporting that. So we're either not making good plans, or the plans that we have made are insufficient or unrealistic or not in our best interest and can't be applied in a positive way. So it signifies that at this point to stop and take inventory and take a period in which you may feel restless, but this is the time that we prepare for change, and we can't change if we don't know what we're going to change to or where we're going to change. So take a peek at that and see, what do I need to do to prepare myself for change? And just think about it. In nature, we're preparing now, as I said, with the ducks and the feathers and the dogs and the hare. I'm noticing, sadly, my maple tree is starting to get red leaves. No! The birds are flocking. We're preparing for winter. We're preparing for fall, but we're preparing for winter. Get the winter clothes out pretty soon. So it's the early stages, yes, with this planning card, because it's upside down. So it's the early staging. It might be an enterprise that you're looking at, might be a course that you want to take, might be a new job. Everybody's different. A little later, it'll be active happenings. But right now, we're just supposed to take it easy. We'll feel restless, but prepare for that. Then the next one is the sun. And in the position, it's a major card. In the position that it's in, it's trying to ask us to really, really take a look at our relationships and try really hard to see, how can I make that a really good relationship? How can I focus on making it sunny and warm and positive? Again, that's about that Leo energy that we talked about earlier. to help other people feel good about themselves. Who doesn't like to be around a person that sincerely admires you, sincerely enjoys your company, and makes you feel valued? Well, I can't imagine anybody that doesn't want to be around a person like that. You can be that person right now, and maybe we can work towards that. That's maybe what we're supposed to be working towards, making other people feel good, sincerely about themselves. The next one is the Hanged Man, and it's upside down. So it's suggesting to look at your life and say, the sacrifices that I am making right now for my job, my career, my husband, my children, my dog, my everything, is it a qualified sacrifice? Is it useless, or will it gain something for me? That's what they want you to look at. So let's take our dogs. Our dogs maybe have been taught to sit down and to make eye contact and to look at us. That's what I teach my dogs. Keep an eye on me, kids. I might need you. Don't want you wandering off too far. We'll keep an eye on each other. Well, if they sacrifice chasing that rabbit, which they would love to do, or digging that big, beautiful hole in the backyard so they can wallow in it, and I'm not paying them any attention. They don't get a cookie. They don't get a ball thrown. They just do all the good things, but they never get acknowledged. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to migrate back to bad old habits, or they're going to do something that we'd prefer them not to do. This is friends, family, dogs, pets, everything. So this is the time with this Hanged Man to look at what sacrifices am I making? Are they useless, or are they productive? And do I want to make these sacrifices anymore? So we have to look at this. What part of myself, what part of yourself, what part of your life are you sacrificing for no good reason? Think about it. Are you living up to somebody else's expectations? This is children. Am I going to school for me, or am I going to school to please my parents? Are you denying what's inside of you? What are your needs? What are your values? Look at yourself. What do you value? I value the quiet time that I am gifted with, hopefully at the end of the day, where I can take my dogs walking in the corn, buffered by that row of trees, going out to the bush, not listening to the phone, just being quiet and calm and green. And then all the dogs lay down around me after their good run, and we're all safe, and I value that. What do you value? What fills you up? What is your inner needs? That is what the Hanged Man wants us to look at. Are you playing a martyr role in a relationship, in a job, in anything? If you are, that needs to be changed, according to this. And then the High Priestess came up, again, upside down. And that's suggesting it is a very metaphysical, knowledgeable energy, higher than just anything. It's intuitive awareness. When it's upside down, we have to suggest to ourselves that we're listening to the wrong voice. It might not be our inner voice. We might be listening to somebody else's voice. We're not listening. So that's what we need to do. And some people will misuse their intuition. They might act on bias and prejudice and being shallow instead of being more than what they need to be. Manipulative in a bad way, not a good way. And they can lack the emotional control to be in a good spot with people. So we have to look at that. We're not being chastised by the universe. We're asking to be inspired, to look around and how can I be better. And the number 1 came up. And number 1 is leaders, right? My number 1 in Star Trek Enterprise. It offers courage and inspiration when you pair it with where the planets are right now. It offers activity and being creative, looking at what creativity, especially with that Neptune that we talked about, that will try to squash creativity. How can I fight for it? How can I think about it without scaring the beans out of myself? And prioritize. So number 1 wants us to prioritize, to use our initiative, and determination to succeed, to maybe devote more time as a leader to other people, to praise them, not dominate them, not be domineering, sincerely praise them. So number 1 offers us some really good things. The weakness of number 1 with all of this energy is superiority and stubbornness. Don't go there, kids. Don't go there. Recognize if somebody else is doing it at risk to life and limb. You can gently point it out or not. But look at yourselves. Better to take the board out of our own eyes than trying to remove the speck out of somebody else's. On that note, I leave you to it, friends. I leave you to the week. Make good use of your resources. Be kind to each other. I'd sincerely like to thank Charlie O'Brien. He's put us on Spotify podcasts, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and without him, none of this would be happening. He's created the website, www.terriworld.com, and if you'd like to find more about my business, my dogs, my readings, you are welcome to visit that site. If you need to look at 4 or 5 roughly of the archived podcasts, you might have missed something, or you just want to refer to it again, he's got that up there too. If you have any digital needs, Charlie's the one to see. He's amazing. He really is amazing. He's a digital god. So thanks again. If you need me, you can text or call 519-726-6699. Or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful week. Enjoy. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.